Out of the NBA, Portland traded Damian Lillard to Milwaukee, part of a three-team deal that also includes the Suns. So Dame teams up with Giannis to form one of the most potent tandems in the entire NBA. Just how good? Well, the move sends the Bucks from plus 750 to 375, NBA title favorites at Caesars. It will be the first time in at least 40 seasons that the Bucks enter as the NBA title favorites. Prior to yesterday's move, Denver had been the betting favorite all offseason long. So I mentioned Windy is there and Monica is here. Let's start with the simplest of questions. Is Milwaukee the best team in the NBA now with Dame Lillard and Giannis teamed up? Yes or no?
Yes or no? That simple on my first return?
That simple. Are they the team to beat in the NBA right now? Vegas says yes.
I'm going to go no. Listen, they are one of two in my mind, but we've seen this how many consecutive years now, Greeny? Past 2019, when Kawhi Leonard was the add water ingredient, I just lost an earring because I feel that passionately. When Kawhi Leonard was the add water ingredient for the Raptors, it hasn't quite worked in year one. And I think we would be remiss if we did not acknowledge the injury history between these guys. Now, having said all that, I'm literally only giving Denver the benefit of the doubt because they just did it and retained most of their core. But very easily, this is a squad that's going to be a problem.
Windy, the first thing you said to me this morning is this is the kind of NBA trade that almost never happens. What does that mean? And what does it all mean in the big picture for these teams?
Yeah, it's a grade A blockbuster. You have a Hall of Fame player, top 75 player, Dame Lillard, being traded for a guy who I think is going to be a Hall of Famer in Jrue Holiday. Very rarely do we see something like that. I do think it's a net positive for the Bucks, but maybe not the way those odds reflect. They were a number 15 offensive team last year. You get Dame Lillard, you're going to be a top 5, maybe top 3 offensive team. That's an incredible pairing to think about, Giannis and Dame playing together. However, Dame is not a strong defender. They've just traded away one of the best defenders in the league. They were a top 5 defensive team last year. They're not going to be this year under this alignment. Maybe they're 10% better, Greeny, in terms of this title chase. Maybe 5%. I don't know. The real question is, what does it mean for Giannis? Giannis made it clear he was not going to sign an extension with his team. He wanted to see them go all in. They have gone all in. But if he still doesn't sign an extension, they're still on the one-year window. If he's smiling and happy but not holding a pen next week, they're still under the same pressure, which is if they don't win the title this year, I don't know if he's going to want to stay. So absolutely, Milwaukee reacted to what Giannis said. In fact, it's kind of a playbook for star players. Press your team because they'll do big stuff like this.
Yeah, that's right. He made the not-so-subtle comments about wanting to win championships and how significant that is for Giannis's future. Do you think this is a move made with that in mind? Obviously, you're trying to win a title, which begets that, but is this as much about Giannis's future in Milwaukee as anything else?
Yes, but I also think it's about the Bucks as an organization that is attractive to potential free agents down the road. Wendy has documented plenty of times in the pod over the summer, they've undergone an ownership change. So to me, this is, yes, in the immediate future about business as it relates to Giannis. But beyond that, you want to be an ownership group that is respected, especially in a small market, and so that guys think that they have the opportunity to go there, get it done, and have the pieces put around them.
All right, I wanted to check this to the moment, and I did, and it is still accurate, Wendy. Right now, the #1 trending topic on Twitter, or now X, is Jrue Holiday. What does that mean and how significant? People are going to talk a lot about Dame Lillard. What should they be saying about Jrue Holiday, and where do you think the likeliest spot is for him to end up?
My comments to those NBA fans, because they know what happens with Jrue Holiday and where he ends up in the next couple of weeks could be a bigger outcome on the NBA title than this trade with Dame Lillard. And I say that because Jrue Holiday is now available on sale. 2 days ago, you couldn't get Jrue Holiday from the Bucks unless you were offering a superstar player and draft picks. Now Portland is going to be willing to sell him basically for draft compensation. You're not going to have to send him a great player. That means a bunch of teams that can compete for the title with the Bucks are now brought into it. I'm talking about Boston, New York, Miami, potentially the LA Clippers, and even more teams. Jrue Holiday is a plug-and-play, two-way, low-impact, low-ego player who has proven to have championship DNA. Teams are crawling all over themselves, contenders. And I would even argue that it's possible that a team that acquires Jrue Holiday, despite this star pairing in Milwaukee, could feel better about its championship chances than they did a couple of days ago.
All right, fascinating. So then give me the team. Give me a team that could wind up making this deal Windy is talking about for Jrue Holiday and make themselves, in your mind, the favorites to win it all.
My first thought, Greeny, Windy, was immediately Boston. Now, I'm not 100% sure what they have in the chest as far as what Portland is looking for, but to Windy's point, it seems like it's going to be far more reasonable. But they just lost a presence in Marcus Smart. There's been rumors about the Malcolm Brogdon situation, although I think he's a solid point guard, obviously coming off of that Sixth Man of the Year award. Boston, to me, it's just sort of revengeful. It's still in the East. Like, it's the most juiciest, tantalizing, and I think impactful immediately play that could be made.
All right, so that's the important stuff you need to know. Milwaukee, good, great. We'll see. Jrue Holiday still waiting and enormously important. Windy, Monica, stay close by. Woj coming up as we continue as well. From the NBA, we're just sitting around minding our own business, and then, boom, Woj bomb. Portland trading Damian Lillard to Milwaukee as part of a three-team deal that also includes the Suns. So Dame teams up with Giannis. They form one of the most potent tandems in the NBA. What does Vegas think of this move? They love it. Milwaukee was the fourth favorite to win the championship when we woke up yesterday. We wake up this morning, and they are the favorites, vaulting past the Nuggets and the Celtics and the Suns. So Monica is here. We'll let her catch her breath after all of the dancing that we just did. And here's the great Woj. Again, that's one of the big Woj bombs in recent memory. Hembo and I sitting around the studio, all of a sudden he goes, oh my God.
Legit.
And so there we go. So take us through it. Now that we've all had some time to digest, what are the most important things, Woj, that fans need to know about what is a monumental trade?
Greeny, that this deal's ripple effects are still fully yet to be felt because Portland's next task is to find a team to trade Jrue Holiday, and there are no shortage of contenders in the league who would love to make a deal with the Blazers for Jrue Holiday. You know, among them, the Celtics, the 76ers in the East, I think the Clippers in the West, but any team who's trying to win and is trying to really keep up with this arms race now in the East with Milwaukee attracting Damian Lillard in this deal, they want in on Jrue Holiday. And so certainly for Portland, you can judge the total value of what they got in this deal for Damian Lillard by ultimately what they now next come out of once they move Jrue Holiday. And I think they're going to move pretty quickly on this one.
Yeah, Holiday's a player I love, and a lot of people do. But let's focus in for a minute here on the Milwaukee of it all. So you got Dame Lillard, and you put him together with Giannis. They had some three-point shooting, which they clearly have not really had. Maybe this puts Giannis in his more natural position, down on the block a little. New coach, we'll see what happens with all of that there. Vegas says they're the favorites now. Are they yours?
They are not quite my favorite. They're my favorite to come out of the East, no doubt. But I just think we all have to think over the last few years, it has not been a successful add player, add water championship since 2019 Kawhi Leonard. And so I just think we have to keep in mind short injury history, particularly when you look at Giannis, but that was a big part of what we saw happen last year in the postseason. And then Dame has dealt with this core thing. I think they're going to get healthy. I think they've got a tremendous chance. But right now, I like that Denver has retained his core. Now, they lost some key role players, but I just think that we've seen winning and just inserting star players has not necessarily led to championships. It's not as easy as it looks.
Woj, I want to go back to your thought on ripple effects, because the Jrue Holiday ripple effect is one that has yet to play out and obviously will be important. The other is Giannis's long-term future in Milwaukee. How does that play into all of this?
Listen, Milwaukee's belief all along was, you know, what's going to keep Giannis is winning and extending that championship window. And you had a core, certainly a core group in Milwaukee that's had tremendous success together, but are starting to move into their early 30s, into their mid-30s with Brook Lopez. And so certainly this is not a young player in Damian Lillard, but this is certainly a player who is still an all-NBA talent and who they have under contract for 4 years. Jrue Holiday would have been entering the last year of his deal. And so certainly now you have Lillard under contract for 4 years, but there wasn't any scenario here where, you know, they made the trade and they went to Giannis Antetokounmpo and said, hey, if we do this deal, can we get a commitment from you that you will stay? They did not do that. John Horst, their general manager, made a decision. I'm going to pull the trigger on this deal. We are going to trade a player that we are incredibly fond of in Jrue Holiday, and all the rest of our draft assets, pick swaps, their 2029 first-round pick, and we're going to bank on the fact that this is going to extend our championship window, and in the end, winning to Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Which makes sense. So, I mean, in that regard, this could wind up being a deal that works on a lot of levels for a lot of different teams. So let me circle all the way back to where Woj started. Give me a team, Monica, that should just be on the phone with Portland and not hang up until they get Jrue Holiday.
My immediate thought was the Boston Celtics. Obviously, the absence of Marcus Smart this year, it's been rumored that Malcolm Brogdon is a guy that they're willing to move off of. I thought he had a solid season as a Sixth Man of the Year. But to me, Jrue Holiday's skill set, his personality, his experience, I think he could be a piece that could really help that Celtics squad get over the hump. I mean, you think about adding him with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on the defensive side when they're both locked in. The type of havoc that they could wreak in terms of being able to navigate pick and rolls if they have to match up with bigs. And then you got their post players on that backside. So to me, it was the Boston Celtics.
He's a winning player. I'm a huge Jrue Holiday fan. That's a big shoe waiting to drop. That's a big bomb waiting to go off. And Woj will be the one who will drop it at some point, we would imagine, in the next few weeks.